From the bottom of my heart, you guys, thank you so much
Thank you for watching
for watching this guy's channel,
No,
Jody's
okay.
channel.
Jody's Corner.
No.
My favorite.
Thank you so much.
YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome. Dear Warner Brothers, over the next few minutes, I'm going to talk to you as a fan, as a consumer, as a supporter, and as a critic of your licensure of the DC Comics and DC Films universe. Back in 2011, you guys released Green Lantern in hopes to compete with Marvel's MCU by releasing your own DC universe. And it was great. You know, we heard Green Lantern was coming out. We were happy with it. And once it came out, you know, there were some issues with the story. And a lot of people talked bad about that film, and it didn't lose money, but it wasn't really a box office success. It was more towards the floppy end, and the rest was history with that. You kind of pump the brakes on that, reshape things, coming straight off of the Christopher Nolan universe of the Dark Knight trilogy, a universe in which one man with one great system built around him created a multi-billion-dollar franchise amongst 3 movies that gave you guys lots of recognition and accolades and got Heath Ledger an Oscar. So you guys had hopes to bring that out more. And we fans, we wanted that. We wanted you guys to bring that out more and explore and do more universe-expanded stuff. Because the MCU's inception in 2008 with Iron Man and the Hulk, hey, those started off kind of rocky, but Iron Man was pretty darn good. Made them like $600 million. And that's why the MCU became what it was. And you guys wanted your piece of that pie as well. You know, DC, you guys were on top back then. And then here we are. Fast forward to when Green Lantern flopped. I'll use that word for the sake of argument. Then you guys came to Christopher Nolan and said, Nolan, hey, man, great job with the Dark Knight trilogy. You want to go ahead and take over the universe and do a Superman movie maybe? Nolan says, no, I don't want to do Superman. Christopher Nolan, a person who tells fictional science fiction type of stories, yet at the same time grounds them somehow within the scope of reality. And Superman is not that type of character. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern are not those type of characters. Those are super metacosmic powered beings. So Christopher Nolan says, nah, but here's my boy Zach. Hey, Zach might be able to, you know what I'm saying? So you guys reached out to Zack Snyder and had him develop a Man of Steel film. A Man of Steel film which fans were split on. I was on the negative end of that film. Not because Man of Steel is a bad movie, because Man of Steel is actually a really good movie. It's just a terrible Superman movie. It's awful. The ideology behind that film and the way he was dark and emo and sad and depressing, and it was against everything that most Superman fans came to see. Yet you still got $660 million worldwide from it, so it was enough to keep on going forward with the DC EU at the time. Around this time, you're getting Ant-Man's and Guardians of the Galaxies around in the MCU. So, it's time to push it forward. You say, Zack Snyder, hey, let's do some Man of Steel 2. That was the original plan, to do Man of Steel 2. Patty was there. But hey, Zack Snyder does do Man of Steel 2. He calls an audible, goes to a con, shows the world exactly what he plans on doing, plays a clip from Frank Miller's graphic novel, The Do You Bleed? Batman vs. Superman is announced. The fans go crazy. I wasn't crazy about it. How is it that you're going to do a Batman vs. Superman movie only when just now introducing Superman? But I was like, all right, I'm for it. Let's see what happens. Batman vs. Superman releases, and it is the worst DC product film ever released. Probably. It's worse than those Adam West Batman movies from the 60s. That Adam West 1966 Batman movie, whatever. That Batman movie is better than Batman vs. Superman. I ranted. The world accepted. I ranted. Then most of the majority didn't like it. And now BVS is known as one of the most biggest disasters. Strike 2 again, Zach. Suicide Squad comes out with an emo grill-having Jared Leto from a rushed script and a scared, won't stand by his back director in David Ayer, produced by Deborah Snyder. And then that movie comes out, and it's a dumpster fire as well. It's another trash movie that the DC universe had to go through. So that's like strike 3 for me. And by the time that all this was going on, and by the time all 3 of those movies had a negative light on them, by the time it came for Wonder Woman's time to shine, Patty was there. All that time making her film with all the drama of the movies, with David Ayer saying F Marvel, with him saying, yeah, Suicide Squad's crap, and running off into Netflix to do Bright. With Zack Snyder being questionable whether he's going to continue this universe or not. With all the hate that the DC universe got. With all the box office, even though box office success, nowhere near the success that the DC universe should have been. BVS made $800 and maybe $80 million. That should have been a $1 to $2 billion film. All that negativity going on. And by the time when Wonder Woman came out in 2017 of June, or was it May? Doesn't matter. By the time Wonder Woman came out in 2017, she never really had a chance. The fans were in an uproar. They were shaky. The haters had lots of food. Warner Brothers was going through all of these transitions with Kevin Sugihara not really caring and deciding that he wants to go ahead and fast forward Justice League and release it before the end of the year so he could get his bonus because the AT&T merger was coming. From firing old executives, putting Jeff Johns in the role of creative head, to him walk away 6 months later. I mean, everything that was going on over there with at Warner Brothers with you guys was a mess. There was no unison direction, and honestly, there was no respect put on the DC Universe's name. They didn't have their own studio, still doesn't. I understand that you guys are trying to build one for specifically for DC, moving one closer to the main stuff. I get that. After Kevin Sugihara's departure, now we have a man named Walter Hamada. Walter Hamada seems to be doing a good job. Put a new CEO to replace Kevin Sugihara, I believe. The woman CEO. I'm looking at her. Hopefully she does good. But Patty was always there. And when Wonder Woman came out in 2017 with all the hate, the articles that came out saying that woman's film was a disjointed mess and she can't direct and it's terrible and it's not good and it's just more of the same, more of the old DC, to where the point where Patty had to come out and defend her film because it was extremely unfair to her. And she realized that there was such a negative, dark, black cloud on the DC universe that the shining light that was Wonder Woman couldn't shine as bright as it could. But even with all that negativity and all the doubt on Gal Gadot about her body and how she doesn't look good enough as far as being thick and muscular and big enough titties and fat hips and all that stuff, people didn't really like the casting of Gal. Somehow still, that movie, that juggernaut powerhouse movie, managed to make over $800 million and is the highest rated DC movie up into that date. How did that happen? It happened because of Patty. A director, a creative director who has the right intentions, knows the superhero feel, knows the tingly feel that we get inside as kids when we pretend to be the heroes that we are, literally got the baton passed to her from another former Warner Brothers contracted employee, Richard Donner. You might know him. You remember him? Superman 1978. Superman 2. She created that film and made it the best superhero film I've seen in many years. And it automatically gave us the first ray of the first ray of shining light on DC, on the actors, the producers, and on you, Warner Brothers. It was really refreshing to see, but there's more work that needs to be done. Patty instantly was able to handle that and bring it out, and it was a huge success. She got greenlit for Wonder Woman 1984. The trailer just dropped a few days ago. The world went insane in Brazil for that reveal. I've never seen fans so happy and enthusiastic for DC related stuff. Yeah, that's natural for Marvel because they have the credit. But for DC, so much was so shaky. But there's a transition. Once that Wonder Woman came out in 2017, there was a little bit of a shift over there at Warner Brothers, hiring and firing and hiring new people. And then we got that James Wan Aquaman film, which was so much more in the light of what Wonder Woman was, as far as being light, bright, shining, having a superhero at the forefront, not being so dark and gritty. And Aquaman became the first DC film universe, DCFU film to make $1 billion. So that's 2 hits back to back. Wonder Woman, Aquaman. I say Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and I skip Justice League for obvious reasons. That was the third and final film that Zack Snyder has directed for good reason, because Justice League was a mess. I understand about the tragedy with Zack Snyder, but me and you know at the end of the day what you guys did, and it is what it is. Zack needed to go, and he's gone. Now this Snyder cut business is going on. I'm sure you guys will handle that the way you know how. It don't exist. But anyway, the Justice League film was a mess. Joss Whedon came in and did the best he could, and in doing so, created something special to me that I didn't even know was there or possible. Because all throughout the time seeing that robot on Man of Steel and that freaking demon on BVS, somehow Joss Whedon managed to make Henry Cavill look and embody the Superman that I know. The Superman that I didn't know that Henry Cavill could do, and the Superman that I've always wanted to see on screen. And I'm going to say this. I vouch for Henry Cavill as Superman because he actually had the will and desire within him to always be that great Superman that Patty wants, that Richard Donner wants, or did. The right Superman. And all the while he was being held back by a director who was focused on tearing down his character. So now we have a Henry Cavill who always comes out and was very vocal in the last few days about him still wanting to do Superman stories. Henry Cavill still wanting to play the role. Henry Cavill still talking about the actual stories in comic books that he wants to do. Man of Tomorrow was being one of them. I believe that Henry Cavill should get a chance to play the last son of Krypton. And I think that should be the title of the film. But with another shot of Henry Cavill, so you chose to go that route with Henry Cavill, which I think you should do. He has a fan base that people want to see. You need to pair a director with that man that could take that Superman and, in my opinion, make the greatest Superman movie ever made. The potential is there, but you must cast the right writer, the right director. Who was that? Who is it? I don't know. What is the greatest Superman movie for the rest of the fandom across the world for the last 30, 40 years? It's 1978 Christopher Reeve Superman. Hands down, without a doubt. Untouchable almost. Richard Donner was the one who created that. Richard Donner also, a couple of years back, was receiving an award and passed the baton to another director to which he saw talent, creativity. A lot of the things that he saw with himself and with Superman to this director. This director's name was Patty Jenkins. Literally gave her a baton like, here you go. Thank you for being here for me, but this is for you. I imagine for Patty that couldn't have been a more special night. You have to get back to the things what got Patty into the superhero genre. Wonder Woman is a product of a love and affinity that she has for superheroes. Wonder Woman is a product of the love and the affinity that she has for mainly one major superhero. Maybe her number one superhero of all time, which is my number one superhero of all time. That is Superman. Patty has said countless times on interviews that she gets inspiration from, that she was pretending to be Superman as a kid, how much of Superman is in Diana and a little bit different, how much Superman means to her as a person. So you have this passionate director who's in the game because of her love for a certain character in Superman, and you have a character in Superman who doesn't have a film, who needs to get a film, and you have a Henry Cavill who played Superman who's yearning and wanting to do the Superman role. All these things at this juncture, in this moment, with Wonder Woman 1984 releasing on June 5th, 2020, I believe when Wonder Woman 84 hits, it's going to make $1.5 billion. I've said that multiple times. I said that going back a year. I always believed that Wonder Woman was going to be a success, and I got dates going back 2 years with that, maybe 3. But it ain't about me. It's about this character, Superman, and the people and the creative beings behind it that want to see that film get done. Henry Cavill wants to do Superman. Patty Jenkins wants to do Superman. Warner Brothers, you want to do Superman, even if you don't realize it. The Justice League cannot happen unless Big Boy Blue is alive and healthy and out. You can't make a Justice League without Superman. It won't be the same without Superman. Y'all know this. The world knows this. So how do we get Superman some justice? How can Superman get done? What about time slots? Patty's just finished Wonder Woman 84. Henry Cavill just did The Witcher. Well, it seems like he might be available. And after Wonder Woman 84, and I would say after a few months after Wonder Woman 84, I'm hoping that there will be some type of decision made to finally give this director what she wants. I don't know for a fact that's what she wants. It's not like she told me what she wants. I don't know what she wants, but it's very easy to tell based off of listening to her over the last 2 years about how she talked about the character Superman. It's almost like it's just written on a wall for the world to take notice, but I take notice. I take notice and I see it and I feel it. How can this be, though? How can it happen? Well, let's take a look at how this could happen. Wonder Woman 3 and the Amazon spinoff are all mapped out, says Patty Jenkins. You know, she already has ideas for Wonder Woman 3 and an Amazon standalone movie. But she also said that she doesn't want people to rush it. She doesn't want people to expect it so soon. Well, that's what the implication was. It's just a matter of time of will we change our minds and when. That's a quote from Patty Jenkins. So let me go ahead and read a little bit right here. This is from Entertainment Weekly, where they say Wonder Woman remains one of DC and Warner Brothers' most lucrative franchises, thanks to Patty Jenkins. Which means you bet director Patty Jenkins is looking beyond the new sequel for Wonder Woman 1984. During this year's CCXP, the Brazilian Comic-Con convention, Jenkins and Diana Prince, in the flesh, Gal Gadot, told reporters that they have already mapped out Wonder Woman 3 and a spin-off film focusing on the stories of the Amazons of Themyscira. But fans shouldn't hold their breath just yet, assuming they don't have Aquaman lungs. Quote, here's a quote from her. We actually already know the whole story to Wonder Woman 3 and then some, because there is an Amazon spin-off movie as well. And so we already have it all mapped out, Jenkins told reporters from multiple media outlets. She also said, quote, it's just a matter of time of will we change our minds and when. We see that Wonder Woman premiered in 2017, but here's where it gets interesting. The sequel will now be released in theaters in 2020, and Jenkins clarified that should both Wonder Woman 3 and the spinoff officially go forward, it will be a wait. Now, let me go to something that she says with her own words. She says, I think what we don't want to do is do it back to back. It's been great doing these two movies back to back. But I think it's important to give it a little rest in between. And I like doing other things in between. And Gal has other things to do. I never want to make decisions too far in advance. We have to see if we both feel like making the movie we think we want to make when the moment comes. I want to reiterate. It's been great doing these two movies back to back. She's talking about Wonder Woman 2017 and Wonder Woman 1984. But I think it's important to give it a little rest in between. So we're talking about the rest in between Wonder Woman 1984, which is dropping in 2020, June 5th. And she's talking about Wonder Woman 3. Giving it a rest. Why would Patty want to give Wonder Woman 3 a rest? I've already read an article months ago where she said there will be a time gap between the two, but this one is more precise. So Patty says she wants to take a break in between 2 and 3. I understand she has a Netflix deal and she can make creative content, but it's in this break period that has me feeling some type of way. And maybe this whole entire video is moot since Warner Brothers you're watching and you're like, man, this guy has no idea. We already casted her to be the director of Superman. And if that's the case, I will go over there to Warner Brothers, go straight to the front gate. I'll get on my knees. I'll open my mouth and whatever goes in it, I'll suck. So that was totally a joke. So we have a time slot to which Patty has a moment in time to where she can actually take on Superman. How amazing would that be for the future of the DC Universe, though? Wonder Woman on track, Aquaman on track, the sequel coming, Batman coming out. You got Green Lantern in the works. Flash got a release date. Shazam just got its release date for Shazam 2 today. All these things are trickling and knocking. Boom, 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 boom. Marvel's on its toes because their phase 4, it looks garbage right now. So DC, you have the opportunity to actually punch and hit harder than ever before. What we always wanted, what we always expected DC to do. Come on, Warner Brothers, you guys have the ultimate kill blow here. If Patty Jenkins gets Superman, announce that motherfreaker within 6 months after the release of Wonder Woman 1984, the world will go crazy. And that Superman movie will be one of the greatest superhero movies ever made and easily gross you over $1 billion. Now you have Big Boy Blue, now you have Wonder Woman, and now you have Matt Reeves' Batman. Now you got the Trinity. Nothing could go forward without the Trinity. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Then the rest is history. Now we're sitting back, smoking cigars, and we're just enjoying the graces. The call to action is really simple, Warner Brothers. Patty Jenkins needs to be the director, the writer, and the producer of the Last Son of Krypton film, the next Superman movie. We want it. We need it. Even if you don't think we need it, trust me, I know my sheet. Look at my back catalog. Y'all been around. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Warner Brothers, this is what we want. We will need it.